Just a few games into the 2022 NFL season, and it's clear that some rookies are starting to get comfortable with their life in the league. Whether they are proving to be better than the veterans in front of them or are shining in small sample sizes, some are forcing their way into bigger roles. Join us as we look at NFL rookies who are earning more playing time with their hard work and skill set. Starting with the most promising rookie, James Cook. James Cook's career got off to a pretty rocky start. The reason? Well, NFL coaches can be a hard-hearted group of people. In Week 1, Cook fumbled the ball on his first touch and saw no further action. The good news is that he has played in the offense during each game of the past 2 weeks, which is great for him and the Bills who selected him in the second round of the draft. Only 15% of his games have been played so far. However, when he is on the field, they want to get the ball to him. He's received 11 carries with 1 target in the passing game while playing 18 snaps in Week 2. Therefore, on 66% of the plays that he was on, they gave him the ball or turned to face him. In Week 3, he was targeted 5 times and carried the ball once on 11 snaps. He received yet another obscene amount of touches. At the moment, he is averaging 4.5 yards on the ground and 7.5 yards on targets, taking advantage of his few opportunities. As he becomes more adept at pass protection and the subtleties of the NFL game, his role should only expand. Next up, Jordan Davis's workload capacity was the topic of much debate throughout the pre-draft phase. Due to his immense size and athleticism, the 6'6" and 336-pound defensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles is a special prospect, but it was reasonable to wonder how many snaps that he could play without losing effectiveness. He played only 38% of the snaps for Georgia's national championship squad as a part-time player. Therefore, the real question is not whether Davis should play more, but whether he can manage it or not. He has unquestionably shown that he must play as frequently as possible. He's only been playing 32% of the snaps, yet in Week 3, he hurried 3 times and swatted a pass. That's in addition to his outstanding performance against the run. Based on his film, Davis fulfills his role as the run game's anchor. When he was on the field, the Eagles only allowed 2.9 yards per carry, whereas when he wasn't, they gave up 10 yards per rush. It's okay that Davis keeps switching positions because the Eagles have a strong defensive line. However, he is currently 5th in that rotation. That needs to change. Moving on, we have the New York Jets running back Breece Hall. Breece Hall has only participated in 42% of the New York Jets' offensive snaps, despite having the most targets of any running back. The rest of the season cannot go on with that number. Since graduating from Iowa State, Hall has proven to be every bit as exciting as predicted. It's obvious that he can catch passes out of the backfield. Against linebackers, he has the ability to run legitimate routes that allow him to gain space. However, his abilities as a runner shouldn't be overlooked in light of all his efforts in the passing game. Despite just having 21 carries this season, he is averaging 5.3 yards per carry. Hall ranks 8th in the league in terms of yards produced per touch and 9th in terms of breakaway run rate. The issue is that Michael Carter II, who has been fine in his own right, is still his roommate in a timeshare. He's 7th in the breakaway run rate, but 19th in yards produced per touch. However, Hall has the greater upside, so as long as he keeps demonstrating it, he should get a bigger portion of the backfield action. Following up, Kyle Hamilton fell to the 14th overall pick on draft day. On the BR Final Big Board, he was ranked as the number 7 player. Then, there were rumors that Hamilton had a difficult few training camp days, so it appeared that the league was smart to hold off on picking Hamilton when he only played 50% of the defensive snaps in the season opener and had to wait behind Chuck Clark. Hamilton, however, has begun to demonstrate why he was so highly regarded after leaving Notre Dame. He is the league's 7th best safety according to PFF, and in Week 3 against the Patriots, he received a coverage grade of above 90. The ball was punched out of Nelson Aguilar's hands, and he also created his first turnover. Hamilton has demonstrated the versatility and playmaking skills that helped him be selected in the first round. The Ravens must now capitalize on this by scoring additional runs. An obvious place to start is with Chuck Clark, who has participated in every snap. Furthermore, Seattle Seahawks' edge, Boye Mafe, is a great prospect for the future. With a record of 1-2 and a defense that just allowed the Atlanta Falcons 179 rushing yards, it's obvious that the Seattle Seahawks need to make some defensive adjustments. Getting more playing time for rookie Boye Mafe should be one of those moves. The Minnesota native has played in 31% of the defensive snaps, recording 7 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss, and 3 hurries along the way. In other words, he hasn't spent a lot of time on the field, but when he does, he makes himself known. As Michael Sean Dugar of The Atlantic reported, Mafe was the only player to make a tackle for no gain on a running play intended for a running back against the Falcons. Pete Carroll, the head coach, has been impressed thus far. He assured the press by stating, "You'll see more of Boye. He performed admirably once more in the roles we're giving him." The Seahawks plainly have difficulties with their run defense and used a second-round choice on Mafe. Given what he's demonstrated demonstrated thus far, using him more frequently in the rotation makes sense. What's more, although Alec Pierce's season got off to a rocky start, there is still time for him to put together a strong first season. In Week 1, Pierce was a ghost. When the game first began, he only saw 2 targets and was unable to take either one down. He then completely missed Week 2 due to a concussion. But in Week 3, the rookie had a small breakthrough performance. Even though he only participated in 45% of the offensive snaps, he caught 3 of his 5 targets for 61 yards, including one spectacular go route along the sideline when he showed off his catch point winning skills. Pierce acknowledged that it was really relieving to make his first NFL reception. In addition to Michael Pittman Jr., the Colts sorely need a second option to emerge in the passing game. Pierce provided a spark for Matt Ryan, who, in a victory over the Chiefs, threw for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. After starting 0-1-1 against the Texans and Jaguars, that ought to be sufficient to turn around the Colts season. Pierce might have a significant impact on its future. Additionally, Aidan Hutchinson might not be as good as others on the list, but there's still great hope for him. Hutchinson is a strong, adaptable defender who fully embodies the Lions coach Dan Campbell's philosophy. Hutchinson gives Detroit's defensive front an edge, even if he doesn't bite any kneecaps during the games. Hutchinson excelled in Detroit's Week 2 victory over the Washington Commanders. He recorded 5 solo stops, 2 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. The 22-year-old struggled in a close defeat to the Minnesota Vikings in Week 3, despite playing through a thigh ailment. Hutchinson has made 7 tackles, 3 sacks, and 6 quarterback pressures overall, living up to his reputation. Expect Walker and Hutchinson to compete for Defensive Rookie of the Year throughout the entire season. Lastly, we have Theodore Stingley of the Houston Texans. When the team selected former LSU cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. as the first defensive back off the board in April, they knew they were taking a chance. After only playing in 3 games in 2021 due to a Liz Frank injury, Stingley was returning to action. Nevertheless, he was brought up to speed by the Texans in time for the regular season, and the former Tigers star has hardly left the field since then. For Houston, Stingley has played an amazing 98% of the defensive snaps while starting all 3 games. Stingley, who has accumulated 18 tackles, 3 passes defended, and a sack, has been active all over the field. He has performed admirably in coverage, allowing just a 78.9 passer rating for the opposition. While Stingley has spent most of Week 2 battling Denver Broncos receiver Courtland Sutton, who finished with 7 receptions and 122 yards, it hasn't all been great. However, Stingley has generally conducted himself admirably. It's too soon to declare that Houston made a perfect choice or that Stingley is destined to become the next outstanding cover corner. He hasn't done anything to deter Houston supporters either, and has assumed the position of steady starter right away. Which rookie seems the most promising to you? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and also subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.